Welcome back to Grimface Motivation, where we challenge you to defy the ordinary, break free from the herd, and forge a life of purpose and power. To our returning viewers, thank you for being part of this relentless journey. You are the backbone of the Grimface movement, and your drive, resilience, and commitment inspire us to keep delivering content that cuts through the noise and pushes you closer to greatness. If you're new here, welcome to the rebellion. This isn't just another motivation channel. This is where we strip away the lies, face the brutal truths, and arm you with the mindset needed to conquer your limits and take control of your destiny. If you're ready to reject mediocrity and embrace your full potential, hit that subscribe button now. Join the Grimface movement, and let's rise together. Today we're diving deep into the mindset shifts that separate the dreamers from the doers, the lost from the leaders. These are the changes that can take you from surviving to thriving, from a life of quiet desperation to one of honor, purpose, and success. We'll explore the lessons that can transform your thinking and your life, from building a clear vision and mastering emotional discipline to learning how to innovate, adapt, and build systems that scale your impact. These aren't just ideas, they're tools, weapons to wield against doubt, fear, and mediocrity. This is your moment to step into the mindset of the relentless, to claim the success and honor that most people will never even dream of touching. So, whether you've been here since the beginning or are just joining us, know this: you're here for a reason. Let's make it count. Welcome to Grimface Motivation. Let's rise. Lesson 1. The power of vision and clarity. Let me ask you something. What are you really chasing? Is it wealth? Is it freedom? Maybe it's recognition. Or are you running blindly, fueled by an aimless hunger, chasing nothing but illusions? Most people spend their lives wandering, distracted by fleeting desires, mistaking activity for progress, chaos for purpose. Here's the cold, brutal truth. Without vision, you are nothing more than a pawn in someone else's game. The world doesn't care if you're lost. It doesn't stop for hesitation, nor does it pity confusion. It grinds you down until there's nothing left. But there's a way out, a way to rise above the noise, the mediocrity, the distractions. It begins with clarity. Clarity cuts through illusions. It reveals the battlefield for what it is. When you know exactly what you want, when you see it with ruthless precision, the game changes. Every action becomes deliberate. Every choice moves you closer to the life you're building. Without vision, you are powerless. With it, you become unstoppable. But don't mistake vision for wishful thinking. Vision requires discipline. It demands sacrifice. It strips away your comforts and forces you to confront the person staring back at you in the mirror. True vision is forged in the fires of self-awareness. It begins with the hard questions. Who am I? What do I stand for? What am I willing to endure to get what I want? A real vision is more than a goal. It's an obsession. It must burn in your mind so vividly that it drowns out every distraction, every doubt, and every whisper of fear. It must be the first thought when you wake, and the last before you sleep. Anything less is weak, and weakness won't survive. Most people settle for dreams that are too small. Why? Because they're afraid. Afraid of the effort it will take. Afraid of the judgment they'll face. Afraid of failure. But here's a secret. Fear is your guide. If your vision doesn't terrify you, it's not big enough. Write down your vision. Commit to it. Let it become the compass that guides every decision. Let it drown out the noise of the world. Let it pull you forward when your body is broken, when your mind is weary, and when your spirit wants to quit. Because in the end, there are two kinds of people in this world. Those who follow someone else's vision and those who create their own. You have to decide right here, right now, which one you will be. The world is waiting, but it won't wait forever. Vision is the foundation of success. Without it, you lack purpose and direction. With it, every action has meaning, and every step moves you closer to greatness. Imagine two lives. One person has a crystal clear vision, a defined purpose that fuels their every move. They build their life brick by brick and reach heights they once thought impossible. Another person drifts, chasing distractions, and ends up trapped in mediocrity. The difference? Vision. Starting today, define your vision. Write it down. Make it so clear it can't be ignored. Then ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice to bring this vision to life? Break it down into one action you can take right now. Do it today, because hesitation is the language of failure. Ask yourself these questions. What's holding you back from defining your vision? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Or is it the false comfort of mediocrity? How will your life transform once you finally commit to clarity and purpose? Let this lesson be the beginning of your transformation. Vision is your weapon. Sharpen it, wield it, and let nothing stand in your way. Lesson 2. Embracing a growth-oriented mindset. Let me tell you a harsh truth. Most people stay exactly where they are because they believe that's all they're capable of. They build walls around themselves, brick by brick, with excuses like, I'm not smart enough, I don't have the talent, or it's just the way things are. These walls feel safe, but they're nothing more than a prison built by their own minds. You see, there's a fundamental divide in this world. Some people believe their abilities are fixed, etched in stone. They say, I can't, and they stop. Others see failure not as the end, but as the beginning. They don't ask, can I? Instead, they ask, how can I? That's the difference between stagnation and growth. The growth-oriented mindset doesn't fear failure. It feeds on it. Every mistake, every setback, every rejection becomes fuel for evolution. Failure is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. But only if you're willing to listen. Only if you're brave enough to look at your shortcomings and say, this is where I begin. This is where I grow. Stop lying to yourself about your limits. They don't exist. They're illusions, forged by fear, shaped by doubt, and reinforced by the opinions of others. But those limits will crumble the moment you decide they don't define you. The moment you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I learn? What can I become? Growth requires one thing above all else: action. Not the kind of action that feels safe and easy, but the kind that scares you, the kind that forces you to stretch beyond what you think you're capable of. Growth is uncomfortable by design because it's breaking the old you to build something greater. But make no mistake, growth is not a straight path. It's messy. It's filled with failures, doubt, and moments where giving up feels easier. Those moments are your test. When you feel like quitting, when the voice in your head screams that you're not enough, you must push through. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Every day, you have a choice. Stay the same or evolve. Cling to comfort or embrace the discomfort of growth. One path leads to regret. The other leads to the person you were born to become. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. The moment is now. Take the first step, no matter how small, and let every failure, every obstacle, every setback transform you. You are not defined by your past. You are not bound by your weaknesses. You are a work in progress, and the only limit is the one you accept. Tear it down. Build something extraordinary in its place. A growth-oriented mindset views failure as a teacher and challenges as opportunities. It requires action, resilience, and the courage to push beyond comfort to achieve transformation. One person fails and says, "I'm not good enough," and they stop. Another fails and says, "This is where I improve," and they rise. The difference between mediocrity and greatness is how you choose to respond to failure. Reflect on your last failure. What did you learn from it? Write down one way you can use that lesson to grow. Then, take one uncomfortable action today. Something that challenges you. Something that stretches your limits. Ask yourself these questions. What stories are you telling yourself about your limits? Are they true, or are they excuses? What would happen if you stopped believing them? How would your life change if you embraced growth instead of fearing it? Let this be the day you stop holding yourself back. Let this be the day you decide to grow. Your future self is waiting. Make the choice to become them. Lesson 3. Mastering risk and reward. Let me ask you something. What are you afraid of losing? Is it your time, your money, your pride? The truth is, most people are paralyzed by the thought of loss. They cling so tightly to what they have, to the illusion of safety, that they never reach for anything greater. But here's the brutal reality. There is no reward without risk. Every opportunity worth chasing requires you to step into the unknown, to gamble with your comfort, to face the possibility of failure. The difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck is simple. The ones who rise don't fear risk. They master it. You see, risk is not your enemy. Recklessness is. Taking risks blindly, without calculation or strategy, is a recipe for disaster. But taking no risks at all is even worse. It guarantees mediocrity. The key is to learn how to evaluate the stakes. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Can I handle it? And then, more importantly, what's the best that could happen? Is it worth it? Those who succeed don't just leap into the unknown. They leap with purpose. They weigh the consequences, but they don't let the fear of failure hold them back. They understand that every great achievement comes with a price, and they're willing to pay it. But here's the secret most people don't talk about. Not all risks are equal. Some are worth taking. Some are traps. Your job is to learn the difference. You don't chase every opportunity. You chase the right opportunity. The one that aligns with your vision, your goals, your values. The one that challenges you, but doesn't destroy you. And make no mistake, risk doesn't just test your strategy. It tests your courage. It will ask you to step into situations where there are no guarantees. It will ask you to trust yourself when no one else does. And it will demand that you keep moving forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. Most people run from that kind of discomfort. They play it safe. They convince themselves that someday they'll take the leap. But someday is a lie. The opportunities you're waiting for won't wait for you. If you don't move, someone else will. So ask yourself, what are you willing to risk to become the person you're meant to be? Are you willing to risk your time, your comfort, your fear of failure? Are you willing to bet on yourself when the odds are uncertain? Because here's the truth. If you're not willing to take risks, you're not really living. You're just surviving. The choice is yours. You can stay in your comfort zone, clinging to what's safe, and watch as others claim the life you wanted. Or you can step into the unknown, take calculated risks, and seize what's waiting for you. The clock is ticking. The opportunities are fleeting. Will you rise, or will you let fear hold you back? There is no success without risk. Mastering risk involves calculating potential losses, identifying rewards, and taking bold, purposeful action despite the fear of failure. One person sees a risky opportunity and says, "What if I fail?" They do nothing and stay stuck. Another person sees the same opportunity and says, "What if I succeed?" They take the leap, and even if they stumble, they learn, adapt, and rise. Identify one area of your life where fear of risk is holding you back. Write down the worst possible outcome if you fail, and the best possible outcome if you succeed. Then take one calculated risk today. Start small if you must, but take a step into the unknown. Ask yourself these questions. What opportunities have you missed because you were afraid of the risk? What would happen if you stopped letting fear dictate your decisions? How would your life change if you started mastering risk instead of avoiding it? Let this lesson ignite something in you. The path to greatness is uncertain, but it's there for those bold enough to walk it. Are you ready to take the first step? Lesson 4. Finding and solving problems. Let me ask you, when was the last time you truly paid attention to the world around you? Not just glanced at it, not just went through the motions, but really saw it for what it is. A chaotic, imperfect web of broken systems and unanswered needs. The world is full of problems, yet most people walk past them, complaining or ignoring them entirely. But the ones who rise above mediocrity are those who see problems and ask a critical question. How can I fix this? The truth is, opportunity hides in difficulty. The bigger the problem, the greater the potential for a solution to create impact, value, and success. But recognizing these opportunities requires a shift in how you think. Most people see problems as barriers. You must learn to see them as doors. Here's the harsh reality. If you're not looking for problems, you're looking for comfort. And comfort leads to nowhere. The discomfort of facing difficult situations is the breeding ground for innovation. If something frustrates you, challenges you, or feels broken, that's your signal. Don't run from it. Run toward it. Dive into the friction, the inefficiency, the pain points, and start asking, what's missing? What would make this better? But finding problems isn't enough. You must become a relentless solver. It's not about complaining or wishing things were different. It's about getting your hands dirty and creating change. Solving problems requires focus, curiosity, and persistence. You don't stop when the solution isn't obvious. You dig deeper, you ask smarter questions, you experiment until the answers reveal themselves. Understand this. People will always pay for solutions to their problems. That's the secret to building value. It's not about chasing trends or mimicking others. It's about identifying unmet needs and filling them in a way that no one else can. But don't fool yourself into thinking this is easy. Solving real problems demands courage. It demands that you confront challenges others avoid, that you face failures others fear, and that you persist when others quit. It's not a straight path. You'll stumble, you'll fall, and sometimes you'll want to give up. But every step forward, every lesson learned, brings you closer to mastery. So ask yourself, what problems are you walking past? What frustrations have you accepted as normal? What inefficiencies have you ignored because they feel too overwhelming to solve? These are your opportunities. These are your doors. The world is waiting for problem solvers, not complainers. It's waiting for people who have the courage to tackle the difficult, the broken, the messy. Are you willing to be one of them? Or will you keep walking past the very opportunities that could transform your life? The choice is yours. Will you see problems as obstacles? Or will you see them for what they really are? Stepping stones to greatness. The greatest opportunities hide within the world's most challenging problems. Success comes from identifying these problems and solving them with focus, creativity, and persistence. One person sees a broken process and complains about it, leaving it for someone else to fix. Another person sees the same problem and asks, how can I make this better? They create a solution, deliver value, and transform their life. Identify one recurring frustration or inefficiency in your daily life or environment. Write it down. Then brainstorm one actionable step you can take to begin solving it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to start. Ask yourself these questions. What problems have you accepted as unsolvable? What opportunities might you find if you started looking at these problems through the lens of solutions? How would your life change if you became a relentless problem solver instead of a passive observer? This is your wake-up call. The world is broken in more ways than you can count. But in those fractures lies the foundation for your success. If you have the courage to act, will you rise to the challenge? Or will you let the problems pass you by? Lesson 5. Leveraging time and resources. Let me ask you a question. Do you control your time, or does it control you? The world is filled with people who wear busyness as a badge of honor, confusing endless activity with true progress. They grind endlessly, running in circles, chasing tasks that lead nowhere. But here's the brutal truth. Time is the one resource you can never get back. If you waste it, it's gone forever. And the ones who understand this, who master the art of leveraging time and resources, are the ones who build empires, while others are just trying to survive. You see, success isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about focusing your energy on the things that truly matter while letting go of the distractions that drain you. Most people don't realize this. They spend their days putting out fires, saying yes to everything, and wondering why they feel stuck. But the truth is, every moment you spend on something trivial is a moment stolen from something extraordinary. The secret to leveraging time is simple. Prioritize. Identify what moves you closer to your vision, and ruthlessly eliminate everything else. This isn't about being busy, it's about being deliberate. It's about recognizing that not all tasks are created equal and focusing on the ones that create the greatest impact. But leveraging time isn't just about doing things yourself. It's about knowing when to delegate. You can't do everything, and if you try, you'll fail. The most successful people don't hoard responsibility. They build systems, teams, and networks to multiply their efforts. They know their strengths, and they focus on them while surrounding themselves with others who can handle the rest. Here's the reality. You only have 24 hours in a day. That's it. No more, no less. But how you use those hours determines everything. Will you spend them chasing distractions, drowning in low-value tasks, or will you invest them in actions that drive you forward? And let's not forget resources. Time and energy are your most precious resources, but they're not the only ones. Your money, your knowledge, your network, these are tools. Tools that can either sit idle or be used to create leverage. Most people hoard their resources out of fear, clinging to them as if they'll run out. But the bold ones, the smart ones, know that resources are meant to be used, not hidden away. Ask yourself this: how can I make my time work for me? How can I use my resources to create more opportunities, instead of waiting for them to appear? These are the questions that separate those who lead from those who follow. So stop wearing busyness like a badge of honor. Stop wasting your time on things that don't matter. Focus, delegate, leverage, building. Every second you waste is a second stolen from your potential. Make it count. Time is running out. How will you use yours? Time is your most valuable resource, and leveraging it effectively is the key to success. Prioritize high-impact activities, delegate where possible, and use your resources strategically to multiply your efforts. One person spends their days endlessly busy, juggling low-value tasks, and wondering why they're not progressing. Another focuses their time on the few critical actions that truly matter, delegates the rest, and watches their efforts multiply. The difference? Leverage. Take an inventory of your daily activities. Identify one task that drains your time, but doesn't move you closer to your goals. Eliminate it, delegate it, or automate it. Then identify one high-impact action you can focus on and commit to it today. Ask yourself these questions. What is stealing your time and energy right now? How could you eliminate or delegate these distractions? What opportunities could you unlock if you focused your resources on what truly matters? This is your moment to take control. Stop being a slave to the clock. Stop letting your resources collect dust. Master your time, leverage your energy, and build the life you deserve. The choice is yours. Will you rise, or will you waste another second? Lesson 6. Building a network of excellence. Let me ask you something. Who are you surrounded by? Take a hard look. Are the people in your life pushing you forward, challenging you to rise, or are they holding you back, keeping you comfortable, keeping you small? Here's the reality most people don't want to face. You are the sum of the company you keep. If you surround yourself with mediocrity, that's what you'll become. But if you build a network of excellence, you will rise to levels you never thought possible. The truth is, no one succeeds alone. Behind every great achievement is a foundation of relationships, mentors, allies, partners, people who sharpen your vision, amplify your strengths, and push you to be more. But most people don't seek these relationships. They cling to comfort, staying in circles that demand nothing from them. They settle for mediocrity, and mediocrity becomes their ceiling. But not you. Not if you want to win. Building a network of excellence starts with one thing: intention. You don't wait for the right people to come to you. You seek them out. You align yourself with those who inspire you, challenge you, and force you to grow. You look for those who are driven, disciplined, and unrelenting in their pursuit of greatness. And when you find them, you bring value to the table. Let's be clear. Relationships aren't one-sided. If you want to build a network of excellence, you must first become someone others want to align with. Excellence attracts excellence. Mediocrity repels it. You can't expect to connect with greatness if you're not willing to embody it yourself. But here's where most people fail. They think building a network is about collecting contacts, shaking hands, and exchanging business cards. It's not. True relationships are built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. They are built by showing up, delivering value, and proving over time that you are worth investing in. This isn't easy. Building a network of excellence means leaving behind relationships that don't serve you. It means stepping out of your comfort zone and into rooms where you might feel out of place, where you are the least experienced, the least knowledgeable. But that discomfort is where growth happens. That's where you level up. And understand this: the people you surround yourself with will shape your future. Their habits will become your habits. Their mindset will influence your mindset. Their limitations will become your limitations, unless you choose differently. So ask yourself, who do I need to surround myself with to reach the next level? What kind of person do I need to become to attract those relationships? And most importantly, what am I willing to do to build a network of excellence? The choice is yours. Stay comfortable, stay stuck, and let your circle define your limits. Or step up, seek excellence, and let your network propel you to heights you can't yet imagine. Time is ticking. Will you rise alone, or will you build a foundation of greatness? You are shaped by the company you keep. To succeed, you must intentionally build a network of people who challenge, inspire, and elevate you, while bringing value to those relationships. One person stays in the same comfortable circle, never challenged, never growing. Another surrounds themselves with ambitious, disciplined individuals who push them to achieve more. The result? One remains stagnant, the other rises. Identify one person in your life who inspires or challenges you. Reach out to them today. Then, identify one person or relationship that holds you back. Begin creating boundaries or distancing yourself. Finally, list one way you can bring value to someone you aspire to connect with. Ask yourself this: are the people in your life helping you grow or keeping you small? What would your life look like if you intentionally built relationships with those who push you to excel? What changes do you need to make today to create that network? This is your turning point. Your network will define your future. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with excellence and watch how far you can rise. The choice is yours. Will you elevate or will you stay anchored? Lesson 7. Thinking in terms of scale. Let me ask you something. Are you building for survival or are you building for impact? Most people think too small. They're focused on getting through the day, the week, maybe the month. Their goals are limited to what they can see, what feels safe, and what they believe is within their grasp. But here's the brutal truth. Small thinking leads to small results. If you want to achieve greatness, you have to think in terms of scale. You have to imagine not just what you can do today, but what you can build for the future, something that grows beyond you. Here's the difference. Survival thinking asks, what do I need to get by? Scaled thinking asks, how can I create something that lasts? How can I multiply my impact? How can I build systems that work even when I don't? The people who think small chase incremental wins. The ones who think in terms of scale create legacies. Scaling isn't just about growing bigger. It's about growing smarter. It's about designing systems, processes, and strategies that amplify your efforts. Most people try to do everything themselves, believing that working harder will get them there. But the truth is, you'll never scale if everything depends on you. The key is leverage. Leveraging technology, systems, and people to expand your reach and multiply your results. This requires a shift in mindset. You can't afford to think like a worker. You have to think like a builder. Builders don't just focus on the immediate task. They focus on the structure, the foundation, the long-term strategy. Builders ask, how can I create something that operates efficiently, grows consistently, and impacts exponentially? But let's be clear. Thinking in terms of scale isn't easy. It demands vision. It requires you to step back from the daily grind and see the bigger picture. It challenges you to break free from the mindset of just enough and step into the mindset of what's possible. And it forces you to let go of control, to trust others, to invest in systems, and to take risks that most people are too afraid to take. Here's the truth. If you're not thinking about scale, you're setting yourself up for limitations. You might achieve success, but it will always be capped by your own time, energy, and effort. Scaling removes those limits. It transforms your efforts into something far greater than the sum of its parts. So ask yourself, what am I building? Am I chasing small temporary wins, or am I creating something that can grow? What systems, strategies, or partnerships do I need to scale my efforts and amplify my impact? The clock is ticking, and the world is moving forward with or without you. Small thinkers get left behind. Builders rise. What kind of thinker will you be? Thinking in terms of scale means designing systems and strategies that amplify your efforts, multiply your impact, and create something that lasts beyond you. One person works tirelessly, doing everything themselves, achieving small results that disappear the moment they stop. Another builds systems, delegates effectively, and creates something that grows exponentially over time. One burns out, the other builds a legacy. Identify one area of your life or business that depends entirely on your effort. Write down one way you could systematize, delegate, or automate it. Then take the first step to implement that change today. Ask yourself these questions. Are you chasing small, temporary wins? Or are you building something scalable? What would your life look like if you designed systems that amplified your efforts? What's one action you can take today to start thinking bigger and scaling smarter? This is your moment to think bigger, act smarter, and build bolder. Small thinking has no place in your future. Let go of the limitations, embrace the challenge, and create something that grows beyond you. The choice is yours. Will you stay small, or will you scale? Lesson 8. Focusing on long-term impact. Let me ask you, are your decisions today building the future you want, or just getting you through the moment? Most people live for now. They chase immediate gratification, quick wins, and short-term rewards, never stopping to ask themselves where this path leads. They trade long-term success for temporary comfort, and they wonder why they feel stuck. But the truth is, greatness doesn't come from shortcuts or quick fixes. It comes from playing the long game. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is perspective. Short-term thinkers focus on what feels good now. Long-term thinkers focus on what's necessary to create lasting impact. They don't ask, what's easy? They ask what will matter in 5 years, 10 years, a lifetime. Focusing on long-term impact requires discipline. It means making sacrifices today for the future you're building. It means delaying gratification, resisting distractions, and staying committed to the vision, even when the rewards feel distant. And here's the hard truth. The long-term game isn't glamorous. It's slow. It's relentless. It's full of setbacks and doubts. But it's also where real transformation happens. You see, the world is full of people chasing the next big thing, hopping from trend to trend, burning out in the process. They waste their energy chasing fleeting opportunities because they lack one critical thing: a foundation. The long-term game is about building that foundation. It's about creating something that lasts, something that can withstand the storms, the failures, and the tests of time. But let's be clear, long-term thinking doesn't mean inaction. It doesn't mean waiting for someday. It means taking deliberate, consistent steps toward a greater goal. It means planting seeds today that will grow into something extraordinary tomorrow. It's not about speed. It's about progress. Most people won't commit to this path. They're too impatient, too distracted, too afraid of the hard work it demands. But those who do, they build legacies while others are stuck in survival mode. So ask yourself, what am I building? Am I focused on what's easy or what's meaningful? Am I making decisions that align with my long-term vision? Or am I chasing temporary wins that will vanish as quickly as they came? The clock is ticking, and every decision you make is shaping your future. Are you building something that will endure? Or are you wasting your time on things that won't matter? The choice is yours. You can stay stuck in the cycle of instant gratification, or you can break free, commit to the long game, and create something that lasts. Focusing on long-term impact means resisting short-term distractions and committing to consistent, deliberate action that builds a foundation for lasting success. One person spends their time chasing quick wins, constantly starting over when those wins disappear. Another dedicates themselves to a long-term vision, planting seeds and building a foundation that grows stronger with time. One burns out, the other builds a legacy. Identify one decision or habit in your life that prioritizes short-term comfort over long-term success. Replace it with one action that aligns with your bigger vision. Start small, but commit to consistency. Ask yourself these questions. Are your daily actions moving you closer to your long-term goals? Or are they distractions that keep you stuck? What would your life look like if you focused on what truly matters, not just what feels good in the moment? This is your chance to step away from the noise and start building something that lasts. Let go of the temporary, embrace the meaningful, and commit to the long-term game. The choice is yours. Will you chase what's easy, or will you create what's enduring? Lesson 9. Cultivating emotional discipline. Let me ask you, are you in control of your emotions, or are they in control of you? The truth is, most people are slaves to their emotions. They let fear paralyze them, anger blind them, and excitement lead them into reckless decisions. They ride the highs and lows of life like a ship tossed in a storm, wondering why they never find steady ground. But here's the harsh truth. Without emotional discipline, you will sabotage yourself at every turn. Emotional discipline isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about mastering them. It's about acknowledging the fear, the doubt, the frustration, but not letting them dictate your actions. It's about keeping your head clear when the world is falling apart around you. About staying focused when everything inside you wants to give up. Because make no mistake, life will test you. It will throw chaos, failure, and uncertainty your way. The question isn't if you'll face challenges, it's how you'll respond. Will you let your emotions take the wheel and drive you off course? Or will you take control and steer toward your goals? Here's the truth most people don't want to face. Emotional discipline is a choice. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build. Every time you resist the urge to lash out, every time you pause before making a rash decision, every time you push forward despite fear, you strengthen that discipline. It's like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. But let's be honest, it's not easy. Emotional discipline requires self-awareness. It requires you to step back and ask, what am I feeling and why? Is this emotion helping me, or is it holding me back? It requires you to see your emotions for what they are. Signals, not commands. Fear signals risk, but it doesn't mean stop. Frustration signals challenge, but it doesn't mean quit. And here's the secret most people miss. Mastering your emotions doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you dangerous. It gives you the ability to think clearly under pressure, to make decisions that others are too scared to make, to stay steady when the world is losing its head. Emotional discipline is your edge. So ask yourself, when was the last time I let my emotions control me? What did it cost me? How would my life change if I mastered my emotions instead of being ruled by them? The clock is ticking, and every moment you let your emotions dictate your actions is a moment stolen from your potential. The storms will come, but you don't have to be swept away. Take control, cultivate discipline, and watch how unshakable you become. Emotional discipline means mastering your emotions, using them as signals rather than commands, and maintaining focus and control even in the face of chaos and uncertainty. One person feels fear and freezes, letting opportunities slip away. Another feels the same fear, but steps forward anyway, using discipline to guide their actions. One remains stuck, the other rises. Reflect on a recent moment when your emotions dictated your actions. Write it down. Then identify one way you could have responded differently with discipline. Practice this mindset the next time you face a similar situation. Ask yourself these questions. Are your emotions guiding you toward success, or are they pulling you off course? How would your life transform if you learned to act with discipline instead of reaction? This is your moment to take back control. Emotional discipline isn't just a skill, it's a weapon. Sharpen it, wield it, and let nothing shake you. The choice is yours. Will you master your emotions, or will they master you? Lesson 10. Continuous innovation and adaptability. Let me ask you this. Are you evolving, or are you standing still? The world is relentless. It doesn't wait for you to catch up, and it certainly doesn't care about your excuses. What worked yesterday won't guarantee success tomorrow. The rules are constantly changing, and the only ones who survive, no, the only ones who thrive, are those who adapt and innovate. Most people resist change. They cling to what's familiar, afraid to let go of their routines, their habits, their outdated ways of thinking. They convince themselves that stability is the goal. But here's the truth. Stability is an illusion. If you're not evolving, you're falling behind. And if you're falling behind, you're already losing. Continuous innovation isn't just about doing something new. It's about thinking differently. It's about challenging the status quo, questioning what everyone else accepts as truth, and asking yourself, how can this be better? It's about never settling for good enough and always striving for more. But here's the hard part. Innovation requires risk. It demands that you step into the unknown, embrace uncertainty, and experiment without guarantees. You will fail. You will make mistakes. You will question whether it's worth it. But understand this. Failure is part of the process. Every misstep is a lesson. Every setback is a stepping stone. The only true failure is refusing to try. Adaptability is your armor. It's what allows you to pivot when the ground shifts beneath you. It's what keeps you moving forward when the old paths are blocked. Most people crumble under change. They fight it, resist it, and let it break them. But those who embrace adaptability turn chaos into opportunity. They don't just survive disruption, they use it to their advantage. The truth is, the world will not cater to you. It will not slow down or stop changing to make things easier. If you want to win, you have to keep moving, keep learning, keep growing. You have to see change as your ally, not your enemy. So ask yourself, when was the last time I challenged the way I do things? When was the last time I took a risk, learned something new, or adapted to a situation I didn't expect? Am I clinging to comfort, or am I stepping into growth? The clock is ticking, and the world is evolving faster than ever. If you don't adapt, if you don't innovate, you will be left behind. But if you embrace the challenge, if you commit to constant growth, you can become unstoppable. The choice is yours. Will you cling to the past, or will you create the future? Continuous innovation and adaptability are essential for success. You must challenge the status quo, embrace risk, and use failure as a stepping stone to growth. One person clings to old methods, refusing to change as the world evolves, and eventually becomes irrelevant. Another embraces innovation, adapts to challenges, and stays ahead of the curve. The difference? One resists change, the other harnesses it. Identify one area of your life or work where you've become stagnant. Write down one change or innovation you can implement today. Then, take one small action toward making that change a reality. Ask yourself these questions. Are you resisting change out of fear, or are you embracing it as an opportunity for growth? How would your life transform if you stopped fearing failure and started seeing it as part of the process? This is your wake-up call. The world doesn't wait, and neither should you. Adapt, innovate, grow. The choice is yours. Will you evolve, or will you fade into the background? You've just taken a step that most people will never dare to take, challenging your mindset, pushing your limits, and confronting the truths that lead to greatness. But remember, watching this video is only the beginning. Knowledge without action is worthless. Now it's time to turn these lessons into fuel and make your next move. To our returning Grimface warriors, you already know the drill. Keep climbing, keep fighting, and never let up. Your growth is the proof that this movement is more than words. It's a force for transformation. And to those of you new to the Grimface movement, welcome to the rebellion. If today's message resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and join us on this relentless journey. We're building more than a community. We're building a mindset, a movement, and a legacy. The climb to success and honor is steep, and the path isn't for everyone. But if you're here, you already know that mediocrity isn't an option. So go now. Take what you've learned, apply it, and take one step closer to the life you were meant to live. Until next time, remember, the world doesn't owe you anything, but you owe it to yourself to rise. This is Grimface Motivation. We'll see you at the top.